It's 4 a.m. right now, and you've just woken up, and you're just seconds or minutes before your alarm is about to ring. And the first thing you do is you turn your phone off and you throw it away, just away, so you can't see it anymore, and so that it can't disturb you. So you just switched it off. Next thing you do is you open your laptop and you start working on whatever it is that you're working towards right now. Or if you're a student, you start working, and you work for the next 2 hours. 2 hours. So from 4 to 6, all you do is work. You don't even get up for water. Maybe for water, but that's all. And you do uninterrupted deep work for the next 2 hours. Around 6 a.m.ish, your family starts to wake up, so it's a little ruckus around the house. So you're not able to focus as well, and you identify that. So you go around and do your morning routine. So you brush your teeth, take your morning shit, do whatever, right? And as soon as you come out of the washroom, the first thing you do is you start reading a book. Whatever skill that you're trying to create or improve on, you start reading a book about that. And you read for the next couple of hours. It's 8 a.m. right now, and all you've done since morning is be productive. You have not wasted a single second on scrolling on Instagram doing shitty stuff. You've just been productive and doing the stuff that you're supposed to do. You woke up before time. You worked for the first 2 hours, the most productive hours of your day. You utilized them completely. You read your book, so you did the most boring thing early on in the day, so you don't have to do it later on. And before you realize, like, it's 8 a.m., so some of your competition hasn't even woken up yet. So the people you're competing against, they haven't even woken up yet, and you've completed most of your day's work. Like, all you're left for the day to do is you have to work out and you have to do cardio. That's it. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? It sounds very easy to say stuff like that. And when you go and actually do this, it's easy in the beginning. You can't always be this person. I had a phase where I was completely degenerate, and that came right after me being extremely productive. So I know exactly what you're going through, and I can help you there. I want to make this very clear. You haven't done anything yet. Okay, you think that you have, you think that you've changed as a person. Let me tell you, it takes ages for a person to change. Even if you're young, even if you're a teenager, your own habits, your own lifestyle takes a long time to change. Okay, it's not 30 days, it's not 21 days if you've heard something like that, it's not 90 days. No, it doesn't take 21 days to form a habit, it doesn't take 90 days to change a lifestyle. It takes way longer than that. Okay, so please go about this with realistic expectations. Like, obviously, get into something with like the goal of being into it for at least 100 days. But then you need to be realistic about it. 100 days is just the foundation. It takes 100 more to actually solidify that habit, and it takes 100 more to be very sure that you will actually form this habit. So it's more like 300 days. That's a year. That's almost a year. And that's how it takes to actually build a lifestyle. If you're into this self-improvement journey thinking that it's going to be easy, thinking that it's going to be quick, it may be easy, it's never going to be quick. You're just in the wrong path. You're in the wrong genre. Okay, you don't belong here. So set realistic expectations. So you're very happy, you're very excited about your progress, you're very motivated, right? So you wake up early, you're fasted, you do your deep work, you read your book, you meditate, you go to the gym, you do cardio, you're doing everything perfectly, right? Day after day after day. And you're consistently doing that. And you do that for 10, 15 days, whatever. But then that one day comes, that one single day, where maybe you don't wake up as early, or you miss the day at the gym, or you forgot about reading, something wrong happens, right? So something out of what your normal, what your highly productive routine is, something out of that happens, and that causes the rest of your day to completely fall apart, right? And as soon as you wake up late, you then sit in front of the TV with the remote in your hand and snacks at your side, and you're just watching TV like a zombie. And in that moment, you're thinking, have I really changed at all? Did I just waste the previous 10, 15 days of my life? So you get this imposter syndrome. I'm going to tell you exactly how to avoid this, why this happens, and how you can make sure that this never happens to you again. Alright? So keep watching. Right? So this happens because of a honeymoon phase. This is what I call the honeymoon phase, right? So this is exactly what it sounds like. So you're super excited to change your life. You're full of motivation and you're fully confident that this time you're 100% going to change your life. Wrong. This is just a phase. These 10, 15, maybe 20 days for you. These couple of days where progress seems extremely easy, where waking up early seems extremely easy, going to the gym seems extremely easy, and you're very consistent with your progress. This is just a phase, right? And you're gonna stay in this phase for the first couple of days, and after that, the motivation wears out. You stop being as confident in yourself, and your mentality weakens, your brain weakens down, and or something unexpected happens, and you just can't do anything anymore. After these couple of days, the 10-15 days, you're gonna have the first day where you're gonna snooze your alarm, or you're gonna have the first day where you miss a day at the gym, and you're going to allow yourself to do that. You're gonna allow yourself to snooze the alarm. You're gonna allow yourself to not go to the gym, or maybe not train as hard, maybe not skip cardio for that day. You're going to allow yourself to do all these things because you've made good progress in the first 10-15 days. Right? This is your where your brain starts to weaken, and as soon as you're gonna make that first mistake of snoozing that alarm, not going as hard, skipping cardio, the rest of your day is going to fall apart. This happens because you get onto self-improvement, or you start building a new habit with extremely high expectation, and you're never really ready for this honeymoon phase. Whenever I start building a new habit, whenever I'm in this very concentrated, very focused state of self-improvement, I go in with the expectation, with the understanding that I'm going to get this honeymoon phase. And I've done this so many times over and over again that I know exactly how long my honeymoon phase lasts. So for me, it's about 12 to 15 days, anything between that. And after that, I'm going to have that first thought in my brain that maybe I should snooze my alarm, maybe I shouldn't work out today. And what happens is that as you're basically, I'll explain this as easily and as simply as I can so you understand. So basically, your weak brain looks for a kink in your armor, and as soon as your brain finds that little crack in the armor, it attacks. So maybe that was a metaphor. I'll explain more literally. So maybe your habit of going to the gym isn't that solid yet. So your brain is going to make the idea of not going to the gym more attractive to you. It's going to flood you with excuses of not going to the gym. Or maybe your habit of not waking up early isn't that solid yet. Then you're gonna have the first time when you snooze the alarm in 10, 15, 20 days, whatever. That is exactly what happens. Like, I am dictating how your story is going to be. Your motivation wears off after the first couple of days on the honeymoon phase. Your confidence in yourself, your mentality weakens. All of those things happens because you're done with the honeymoon phase. It's because you get overconfident in yourself because of the honeymoon phase, right? So you start to lower your guard, and that's when your brain attacks you. That's when your weak brain makes you go back to the old habits. So what basically happens is that the first time you do that bad habit, the first time you wake up late, your brain cues the old circuits of your brain, right? So I'll explain. Every habit that you build, it has a particular circuit, right? Habit is that. So basically, whenever you form a habit, your brain forms a circuit for that habit, right? So your brain doesn't have to use a lot of brain energy. You just have to cue that particular circuit and then you perform that activity without much thinking. Okay? So you don't have to use as much willpower. Basically, you can equate it to that. So whenever you do something that is supposed to be your old degenerate self, your old bad habit self, your brain cues those old circuits. So when you wake up late, you're also more likely to watch Netflix. When you watch Netflix, you're more likely to skip the gym. When you skip the gym, you're more likely to also skip cardio. And when you skip cardio, you're more than likely to binge eat or binge watch something or keep scrolling on Instagram and just stay up late. And then when you stay up late, you're more likely to not wake up early tomorrow. So what happens is that one bad thing happens, one old habit, and your brain cues all the other bad habits that you do when you do that one particular habit, right? So basically, after this happens, you quit. You think that maybe you haven't changed as a person yet. Maybe you're still that old degenerate self. Why this happens, why your brain cues these old circuits, is because those circuits are not gone, right? Your previous habits that you built are not gone. It's not, your brain doesn't just disappear, make the old habits or old habit circuits disappear. They're still there, but they're deep down inside, and your newer habits are on the outside, and they're easy to access. Whatever point I'm trying to make is that your old habits are not gone. As soon as you do one thing that triggers the old habit circuits, your brain is going to present in front of you the old habit circuits, and you're more likely to do the stuff that you used to do. Alright, so one of the biggest mistakes that I have made, and most likely you're making too, is that I used to just give up here. I used to just think that I used to feel stupid. I felt like I just wasted the previous 10-15 days of my life. I felt weak. I feel pathetic because I had just, think about this, 10 days of great progress, one bad day. If it's a cycle that I'll have 10 good days and one bad day, that's not like a bad ratio, right? But I still felt very stupid and pathetic because it's not usually just one bad day. It's like a series of bad days. And when you're in self-improvement and you're just starting off, you're going to have this honeymoon phase is going to last for a very small period of time. And this bad phase is going to last for months. So you're really going to begin to think, maybe self-improvement is not meant for you. Maybe you're not meant to be that good of a person. Maybe you're not supposed to be that high-value man. And this mentality, this weak mentality, is what ruins your progress. So you're not really quitting, you're just giving up. You're not literally giving up, but in your mind, you're like, maybe self-improvement is not for you. You're questioning yourself. You're having imposter syndrome. You're thinking, maybe the first couple of days that I made the progress was not really me. Maybe it was just like external motivation or whatever. That's mistake number one. Thinking like that. Thinking that maybe you're not worth it. Thinking that you're pathetic. Thinking that maybe you haven't made any progress, and you haven't. Okay, I need you to understand this, that you haven't made any progress. I'm not saying that. I'm not asking you to believe that you made a lot of progress. When I say that you shouldn't think that you've not made any progress, I need you to understand, even while you're making the progress, even while the honeymoon phase lasts, that you're not doing anything right now. This is just a phase. Okay, this is just your brain tricking you to believing that you're somehow very good at this. Right? Because your brain doesn't think that you're going to do it for a very long time. That's why it allows you to do that. That's why it boosts you with so much motivation, so much willpower. But then you start to do it for a long time, and that's when your brain starts to sort of attack you. That's when your brain starts to work against you. And that is the phase where you have to be like, I haven't done anything yet, now I have to start making progress. Like, you know how, you know that gym analogy that the set doesn't start until it starts to hurt? This is exactly that. Alright, so your entire progress of the 100 days is your one set, and you're not doing anything in the honeymoon phase, trust me, because you have external motivation, you have confidence from the outside, nothing is your own, you're not using any of your mental energy right now. The set starts when it starts to hurt. So after this honeymoon phase is gone is when you start making progress, when you start making actual progress. That's when you can start counting how many days you're consistent. That's when you start counting how many times you didn't snooze that alarm. That's when you start taking off the habit tracker. That is how you start building a habit. You have to know that there is a honeymoon phase and that it lasts for a long time. So the first mistake that you're going to make, that I made, is thinking that you made progress in the first 10 days in the honeymoon phase. Mistake number 2 that I made, and most likely you're going to make, is quitting. Literally, if all I had done is not quit whenever this bad phase, whenever the end of the honeymoon phase came, if I had just not quit, I've made so much more progress. Or at least I would have made the same progress in a shorter amount of time. It's unbelievable how many men can be great if all they do is not quit. Think of these phases as entry barriers, right? So not all men are born to be great. Not all men are supposed to be remembered like years after they're dead, right? The more entry barriers you cross, the more you're going to be sure that you're one of the great ones and not one of the losers. Because the entry barriers are just these phases. Whenever you're thinking of quitting is when someone else doing the same thing is also going to think about quitting. And if you don't quit right there, you're more likely to be one of the great ones instead of one of the losers. And trust me, there's so many losers, there's only a few great ones. How do you avoid this? How do you avoid being stuck in a rut? How do you stop being inconsistent? How do you stop feeling like shit? How do you stop the imposter syndrome? How do you avoid the end of the honeymoon phase? It's very simple. You don't. You shouldn't even think about it, because it's an entry barrier, right? So it's going to filter out the weak people, the weak men, and the less men you have to compete with, the more competitive it's going to be. So you want to go through the honeymoon phase so you can prove to yourself that you're one of the great ones, right? But you don't want to hear that. What I would recommend you actually do, like this is literally actionable, is eliminate motivation from the equation. Learn to do things unmotivated. Go to the gym, especially on the days you don't feel like it. Wake up early, especially on the days you don't feel like waking up. Study without motivation. Take cold showers when it's winter time, when your parents are asking you not to. Do things that you're supposed to do, but your brain doesn't want you to do, that you don't feel like doing. And the more you do these things, the more you'll get good at. I've reached this point in my life where I'll be putting on my shoes, my gym shoes, and my brain will be screaming at me, begging me to not go to the gym. I'll walk outside the door, and same thing, my brain will be screaming at me for not going to the gym. Up until the point where I'll be actually working out, like I'll do my first hard set, my brain will be begging me to stop. But I've made myself immune to that noise. I have exposed myself so many times to my brain's excuses, to my brain's weak noises, that it's just become white noise at this point. Like I don't even hear it until I'm consciously like allowing myself to think, to comprehend what my brain is telling me. Maybe it's giving me an excuse. Maybe I'm too sore for the day. My biceps hurt, so I can't do back. My triceps hurt, so I can't do push day. Whatever it is, whatever excuse that my brain is giving me, I've made myself immune to it. And you can't do. That's the first thing. Second, is simply to not fuck off. Right? So I'll give you an example. Let's just take today. Today I woke up around 9 p.m. And that's not because I fucked up and I slept late the night before. I wasn't scrolling on my phone. I was not doing anything wrong. I was reading this book by my bedside and I fell asleep while reading. And I slept around 9 p.m. I slept before 9 p.m. I remember my mom coming to me and she goes like, "Aaj itni jaldi sone wala hai." So I remember very clearly that I slept very early yesterday and I still woke up around 9 p.m. So the rest of my day should have gone to shit, right? Like, if you think like what I said earlier, that when you fuck up one thing in the day, your brain cues the old habits and then you're fucking up with the rest of the day, right? That was going to happen. So I woke up late and I was going to grab my phone and start watching reels. I was going to turn the TV on, start watching Shin Chan. But instead of doing that, I grabbed my book again, even though I had read for I read for 1.5 hours before falling asleep. And the first thing I did when I woke up was I read, because this is the time where I usually read, right? This is the time where like around 9 p.m. is when I have finished my day's work. So I've scripted, if it is editing that I have to do, I've edited my videos, I've made thumbnails, whatever it is that I had to do, I have done at this point. And I have showered, I've brushed my teeth, whatever it is that I had to do, I've done. Now all I am supposed to do is read. And that's exactly what I did. I read for as long as I could and then I went to shower and then I came back here. And now I'm working again. That is because I had a plan for what I will do if I fuck up one thing. And I'm going to help you create that exact plan for yourself, for your own situation, right? So I'm going to give this I'm going to set this up as an actionable step. You have to do this if you want to make change in your life. If you're tired of fucking up again and again, if you're tired of reaching that end of honeymoon phase and fucking up over and over again, if you finally want to form a habit, if you finally want to become the alpha version of yourself, do this and I promise you will make a difference in your life. And if you don't, I promise you nothing is going to change. I have full confidence in your failure if you don't do this, right? Grab a pen and paper, pause this video right now, grab a pen and paper and write down all your good habits, right? So in your perfect day, right? In the beginning of this video, I gave you like a scenario of the perfect day, right? It can be different for you. So whatever your perfect day is, all the activities in that day, write them down. And I don't want you to write like brushing my teeth, taking a shit, eating food, just the important habits that you're trying to build or you're working towards, just write those down, right? Waking up early, reading book, meditating, whatever it is that you're trying to build, write all those down in the left side. And on the right side, I want you to write all the possible ways that you can possibly fuck that up, right? All the possible ways. So for me, I'll give you a very honest example, right? So for me, on the left side would be waking up early, working, reading, working out and cardio. Mine are very simple because the rest I don't have to form a habit around. I just do them naturally. So I have built a habit around them. And even these, I don't have to build a habit. I'm just consciously trying to track my progress in these, like how consistent I am. So these are all the things for me. And on the right side, I would write for waking up early, I'll write snoozing my alarm. Or maybe my phone's battery is dead, so the alarm doesn't ring at all. Those are the possible two things. Or maybe the phone is in some other room, so my alarm doesn't ring again. So what I can do to avoid these things, now I have to think about that, right? So let's complete the list, right? So first of all, I have these 3 things for waking up early. Either my phone is switched off, I snooze my alarm, or the phone is in some other room, so I can't really snooze it, or I can't hear the ring. That's for waking up early. Okay, I can fuck that up. Next is working. How can I not work, right? So for me, the only like barrier for not working is 1, I'm sleepy. 2, I don't actually have work to do. For example, I record my videos in an iPad, right? So if the videos are now transferred from the iPad to my laptop, I can't really edit those videos, right? And it takes a long while to transfer those videos from the iPad to the laptop. So if those videos are not transferred beforehand, like a day prior to that, in the morning I don't actually have work ready to do. Okay, so that's the second thing. I don't have ready work to do, and that's it for work. For reading, maybe I can forget to read. I can procrastinate. I actually, realistically, I don't really procrastinate. I can either forget about reading. Actually, that's it. I can forget about reading. For working out, I work out every single day. There's no excuse there. But there could be that I ate really later in the day, and that my stomach feels too full, so I can't do abs that particular day. So if it's like a special day when it's ab day and I fuck up my diet, I eat really late in the day, that's when I won't work out. And the same for cardio. So this is my list. Form your own list just like that. If you haven't already, if you're waiting for me to give you examples, these are your examples. Pause this video right now. On the left side, write down all the possible good things that you're trying to build your habits around. On the right side, write down all the possible ways that you can fuck it up. And then I'm going to tell you what to do about that. Okay? So I'm going to assume that you paused the video and you've done the actionable step that I've asked you to do. If you haven't, you're a pussy and you're not going to make any progress in your life. If you have, congratulations, you're one of the great ones. Your chances of success are far more likely than those who haven't done shit right. I have confidence in you, so I do think that you have done that. Now, I want you to eliminate these barriers. These are the barriers. These are going to make your life harder, right? The things that you wrote on the right side. The reasons why you may fuck up. I want you to eliminate as many of those as possible. So I've done this for myself, so I'm going to give you examples right now, right? So I told you that I forget about reading. So I've created a habit tracker and I put it right there on my dressing table mirror. And so I know every day that I have to read. So I don't forget about reading. I have identified that I feel very full when I eat past 3 p.m. because I have to work out at 5:30. So I have made it a rule to not eat past 2:30 or 3 p.m. I eat once a day anyway. I eat around 1 p.m. and after that I just have dinner. So it's very rare that I eat later on the day, maybe when I'm like ordering from outside or some shit like that. Any day of the week, I am not eating past 3 p.m. Right? So my only area that I still fuck up in, I'm saying this with full humility, I mess up waking up early sometimes. And it's honestly, I don't understand why. So, but I made good efforts to make sure that I don't fuck it up. So when my alarm rings, I put it right here on the study table and not near my bed, so I can't just roll over and snooze it. So the snoozing problem is solved. I have to actually walk, come up here and snooze the alarm, and then by that point I see my laptop. So I feel shit like if I don't open it and start working. And I have a water bottle right here, so I drink some water and I feel a little up. I don't feel as sleepy after drinking some water. So those are the true entry barriers that I have eliminated. And maybe some days like my phone is like switched off so it doesn't ring. Some days my phone is in the other room because my parents were using it for something. Some days I still fuck up, right? And that's what I'm working towards. That's what I'm working to solve. But even on the days that I fuck up, I make sure that the rest of the day is not going to shit, right? So what I did is I carried out the rest of the day just as I would. I just eliminated the first couple of hours of the day. I just said, fuck it, that's fine. I still am working. It's 1 p.m. right now and I'm working right now. I'm not supposed to work this time. This is supposed to be like chill time, but I'm working because I fucked up early in the day. And so you have to stop thinking that you have to do everything perfectly. You just have to get everything done every day, right? So if you're on the right track 80% of the time, you're ahead of 80% of people. If you think about it like that, if you think of not fucking up as your end goal and not being perfect as your end goal, you're going to make much more progress. Because the entry barrier is very low. Most people still are not able to cross it. All you have to do is not fuck up. So do exactly this. Eliminate as many of these problems as possible, and you're going to be good to go. Make sure that you remember that the honeymoon phase is mandatory and that you're going to stumble upon it one way or the other. Every single time you're gonna get on like a focused self-improvement period, or you're trying to build a new habit, this honeymoon phase is going to be there. And you can either be a bitch and you can like be in denial about it, or you can be like a smart man, like a high value man, and you can actually think of ways how you can make the most out of the situation. I post videos like this every single week, and I'm trying to build a community of high value men, or people who are trying to become high value men. If you think you're one of them, I want you to be a member of this community. Subscribe right now so my videos show up on your home screen more often, so we can meet more often. I'll see you in the next video.